Hey everyone, so today we're doing Miguel from season 6 of Cobra Kai. I'm using my 25 spray to soften the hair and to precondition it, and now I'm using my comb, which is available on my website. It's a really great comb that allows you to get through the hair very easily, and 25 spray is a must for pre-cutting and also as a leave-in treatment spray. So now what I'm doing is I'm building the foundation, aka the length of the hair. And this is really essential when doing any sort of haircut. This determines the length, how long it's going to be. And if this is too short, then you're done. If it's too long, it's actually safer because you can always go shorter. But once you cut it too short, forget it. So now I'm angling my hands in a way where I'm cutting shorter in the front, longer throughout the sides and into the back. So it's fairly kind of a rounded shape. The whole key to haircutting is making sure that you are connecting the dots. And that's what we're doing here, is I am connecting all the dots to make sure that everything is connected together. If there's any part of a haircut, and you can see how I'm combing very aggressively, I'm making sure all that hair is, if there's any part of a haircut that doesn't connect seamlessly, it's going to reflect in how your hair flows. It's not going to allow you to style it properly. It's going to be really difficult for you. That's why sometimes you'll be questioning why your hair won't do a certain thing. It's because of the haircut itself. Now I'm just working down into the back in the corners. So we do have to leave a little bit of length here. And the whole haircut, there is some length to it. And that's what makes this awesome, is that he's finally really grown his hair out. It seems like the entire show, all the seasons, he's been growing it to get to this point. This is the longest I think he's had his hair in this series. And, this is something that is really important, which is the layering. I talk so much about layering. I have so many videos on layering, and layering really is a technique that's designed to remove weight. If you have very straight hair, like this mannequin does, this mannequin has pin straight, natural hair. If you want to create movement in your hair, you want to create some waves, you want to create some light curls, you have to have your hair layered, like I'm doing right now. If the person cutting your hair is not doing this technique, it's on them because they're not layering your hair properly. So layering really is going to allow that hair to have more freedom to create a different shape. Now, if your hair is already wavy, what you need to be careful of is if you cut it too short, it's going to shrink up to make it even shorter. So you just have to be careful and mindful that you don't go too short, especially if you don't want to lose a lot of length. So right now we're just following standard procedure of following the guideline, pulling everything straight out from the head and cutting it to the desired length. I know in my head that this is the length I'm looking for, and this is how long I have to leave the hair, and this is how much I need to cut it in order for it to look like that. Keeping in mind that as it dries, it's going to shrink up to get a little bit shorter. So you have to know all these things going in. If you are somebody who wants this haircut, right? Maybe not someone who's doing this haircut, but if somebody who wants this haircut, I highly suggest going to a trained professional who understands layering and creating hair shapes. Do not walk into a random barber shop, expect to pay $15, $20 for a haircut, and be in there for 15 minutes and expect to have an amazing flow. If you do, you are lucky because that person is very talented. But in my experience as a professional for over 30 years, this is not a rush job or skimp out job haircut. This requires precision, it requires skill, and really craftsmanship, to be honest with you. What I'm doing now, once again, and you may think, oh, why are you going over this so many times? It's the same section. You have to go over every single section on the head in order to achieve a good haircut. And if you're not used to this could be why your haircuts aren't that great. Because the person who's cutting your hair, they're not being that thorough. Or they're just really rushing through it. They're not taking their time, and they're just blowing through the haircut to get you in and out, right? There's a lot of that. So what we're going to do is just kind of observe what I'm doing here and just kind of follow along. As you can see, what I'm doing now is I'm pulling kind of back away from the front of the face because I'm trying to maintain and protect any sort of weight and length so that when I get into that actual area, I'm able to cut it the right way. If you were to hold this a certain way and not respect this area, you'll create huge holes in the haircut. Or if you are a victim of this and you're a client and you go, why is there a huge hole in my hair? It's because it wasn't layered properly and they didn't over direct and protect and respect that weight that the hair needs in certain areas. Now we're working into the top. This is super important. We're connecting the back into the top, and I'm cutting vertically. I'm cutting towards the face. And what this is doing is allowing me to really connect everything well together. Once you have a solid blend vertically, you can then go in and cut horizontally, which is what I'm doing now. I'm just combing the hair straight up and cutting. Now I'm not pulling it like really, really far back over directing. I'm trying to pull it straight up from the head, which the hair grows upwards, right? It grows outwards from the head. That could be up, it could be out, it all depends. But you gotta really over direct the hair from how it grows out of the head. And yes, even though this is a mannequin, this is 100% human hair. These mannequin heads are very expensive, upwards of $70 to $80 each. They're very, very expensive, and it's human hair that's sewn into them, okay? So for all of you who are, it's rubber doll, it's a rubber hair. No, it's not. These are mannequin heads that are used and for training by highly skilled professionals, thousands and thousands of professionals all over the country, all over the world. So they're really, really high quality. Now what I'm doing is I'm cutting the sides. So when I cut, you've got the top, the corners, and the sides. Very, very, very important. You need to make sure that you go down all the way to the bottom because that really, really is important. If you don't follow that pattern of top, corners, and sides, there could be areas in the haircut that are very uneven. And we want to be even Steven, not uneven Steven, all right? So as you can see, there's a lot going into this. I'm combing and combing, cutting and cutting, making sure every little detail, every little piece is going to be perfect because if it's not, it's going to reflect in the haircut, right? I'm doing this to create an end result off of what I'm looking for. Now we're doing the other side. All I did was I kept in the same position. I just turned the mannequin head around. You always want to have that elbow upwards. You don't want to throw your arm over. I see that way too often where people just throw their arm over to layer the other side of the hair, and that just ends up usually leaving it longer. It's not even, and it's somewhat unbalanced. This is the ideal way to cut, in my experience. So once again, let's just kind of follow along and check out the blending of the layers. All right, once again, you can see we're going down into the bottom of the sides. All of these areas matter in the haircut. You have to, because wherever the hair grows needs to be looked at. Anywhere the hair grows, the sideburns, the back of the neck, over the ears, anywhere, you got to comb it and cut it, and make sure that you're blending everything. And now I need to go a little bit shorter in the front because of how I, cut the hair and how it's all coming together. So I got to go a little bit shorter in the front. No big deal. All right, here's the key part. This is where you really blend everything together to make sure that the top is perfectly even Steven. And what this does, by holding it vertically and cutting, it just kind of brings all the hair together. And if there's any sort of pieces, like right there, any sort of pieces that are a little bit longer or something is really, really off, this is going to expose it. And to some, you may be in shock of how much is found that needs to be cut. That just simply means like maybe everything wasn't super accurate. But don't take that as a bad thing, because what that's going to do, it's going to help you to make sure that you're only cutting, like what I'm doing, little pieces here and there to make sure it's fully balanced. Something went wrong along the way, and what this is doing is simply just cleaning everything up. Combing it in all sorts of directions. Right, here we go once again. I'm going back in on this side, cutting horizontally. Horizontally is a great way with the cut. What that does is it builds some volume in the hair as well. So I'm just making sure that all of this, and I'm a Virgo. If you're a Virgo, let me know in the comments below. I'm a perfectionist. Are you a perfectionist if you're cutting hair? All right. So I'm just trying to play around with the hair here. Now we're going to use Tidal Wave. My number one selling product is a sea salt spray. It's a must for these types of hairstyles, creating waves, volume, and texture. Now I'm using my blow dryer with the magnetic diffuser. This is my ionic blow dryer, which comes with a nozzle and a diffuser that are magnetic. I've upgraded this dryer to where it's got that technology in it, the ionic technology, which really is so much better for the hair. And you have to use the diffuser, because if not, the hair will be blowing all over the place, and the diffuser really diffuses the heat, so it's not so hot, and it's not blowing the hair all over the place. This is a must for creating waves, enhancing curls on straight hair, wavy hair, curly hair. And you can see I'm enhancing those curls. I'm really, and this is a fully straight hair mannequin, so I'm making a whole new shape. I'm creating a whole new texture. So when you use the right tools, the right products, and you have the right haircut, you're able to achieve anything. Right? Now Miguel, he had sideburns, like much longer sideburns. These mannequins don't really have super long sideburns, so. But as you can see, it looks phenomenal. I went in with a couple more spritzes of Tidal Wave. Let me know what you think. If you want to use any of my products or purchase them, use code YouTube20 at shop.thesalonguy.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon.